We've all heard of the so-called cooking revolution by the use of microwaves and the terrific amount of time they save. Many of you may have been wondering about buying one to help cut those horrendous fuel bills. With us today is the lady with all the answers, home economist with the Electricity Council and microwave expert par excellence, Jenny Webb. Jenny, can you save money with microwave cooking?
Well, you can, but not always. I think I should explain that.
Yes, perhaps.
Well, if we take, for example, a joint of meat, £3 joint of meat, if I cooked it in my microwave, it would cost me about half a unit. If I cooked it in my conventional oven, about 1 3/4 units.
That's a big saving.
Yes, now I've saved money in that instance. But if I wanted to cook a full meal, for example, the joint, some carrots and peas, potatoes and perhaps a pudding, then I could do all of that in my conventional oven and it would only cost me about 2 1/4 units. So you see, if I'm going to use my conventional oven, fill it to capacity and I can save money, and in that instance it would be cheaper than the microwave cooker.
So that if you wanted to do the carrots and potatoes and the pudding as well in a microwave, you can't do the whole lot at the same time?
You can't. You can only really do one item at a time, and of course each time you use it, it's going to cost you money.
And that means a bit of juggling to get your whole...
It would indeed, and I certainly wouldn't recommend it.
No,
not initially.
I should think that's quite difficult. How does it heat things then?
Well, it's rather clever because all the energy goes into... Oh, just a minute. I've got a glass of water here. Have a glass of water. All the energy is going to go straight into the food. In this instance, it's water. Normally, when you cook in a conventional oven, the heat goes through the food. You heat up the oven, it goes through the food and gradually to the centre. With this one, we'll just pop that in, shut the door, turn on the timer. There we are, switch on. Now, as it turns round, the energy now is attracted to the moisture in the food. It's not interested in the shelves or the walls or anything else. So
you've none of that to heat up?
Exactly.
Whereas in the conventional oven, you're heating the space.
That's
and
it.
The things are taking their heat from the space. I see, it's a different concept altogether.
Yes, it is a bit. It's all right once you get used to it, but it just takes a bit of time. The thing to remember is the energy is concentrating on the food, nothing else. And so this means, in a moment, we can take this out, and you'll find that the water is very hot or boiling. The glass itself, though, is quite cool, and the sides of the cooking cavity are cool, too.
And, of course, for heating a glass of water or making a cup of coffee, it would be much quicker.
Well, exactly, and that's a penny saver.
You don't have ghastly pans to wash either.
That's true.
Let's have a shot and see what it's like.
Right, off we go. Just open it up, take it out. There we are. Now, you see, the water's quite hot.
Ooh, it is.
Careful.
Yes.
And you can see it's steaming, but the glass is cool. And the walls here are cool, too.
So that means it's quite easy to clean. Well, in what ways, other ways, can it save you money now?
Well, let's think about reheating food. A plated meal, for example. So many people put it on the top of their cooker or in the oven and it's steaming away or cooking away, keeping hot. In the microwave cooker, you just pop it in and it takes about 3 or 4 minutes.
Yes, I could see there's a considerable difference there. Yes. For a family, perhaps, where someone's on shift work or kids are coming in at odd times for lunches, you can plate the lot up and then everybody can put their own one in.
So that's a good saving. If you have a freezer, I mean, a lot of people do have freezers, not everyone, of course, but if somebody has a freezer, of course, this way they can actually reheat the food, thaw it and reheat it very quickly indeed, so they're not wasting money on having unnecessary quantities.
And it would be something quite useful for elderly people too.
Oh, super. My mother has a microwave and she really does save with it.
And you can use them anywhere, just on an ordinary 13-amp plug.
Yes, plug it in anywhere, and that's another idea, of course. You just give me an idea. Put it in the sick room.
Yes.
If somebody's not well, it could be used there. But it's perfect for virtually everything you want to cook.
No, and it's nice and clean inside.
It is indeed, yes. Nice and easy to close.
Well, supposing, Jenny, that someone has saved enough money from our Pennywise programme and has made up their mind they're going to buy a microwave, what about the costs and the features?
Well, this particular model, this is a basic low wattage, 500 watts. It would be under £200.
Which is quite a lot of money, but that's a very basic, simple,
this is basic.
low output one.
Exactly. It has defrost control and also the full power and a timer.
Yes.
And that's it.
But very simple to use.
It is, and super for a lot of people, perhaps, who just want to thaw and reheat.
Now, this one's a wee bit more advanced. What about the price of this?
This one would be about, well, just under £300.
So you're going to pay quite a lot.
200, 300, yes.
What about the features in it, then? What are you getting for this extra?
It's got a lot of features. Obviously, it's bigger. It has a higher wattage. It's 700 watts, this particular one.
Which means it's quicker.
That's it. And you've got various features. For example, this. Now, this is dangerous looking, isn't it?
Isn't it?
It's a temperature probe. And what you do is you plug this part here inside the cooking cavity.
Oh, yes, I see
You can
there's a
it
socket
there.
in there.
And this bit goes into the meat. And then you just set up the degree of cooking you want on the control dial, and it will automatically cook to the right degree.
And of course you
switch
get
off
all that in the
automatically.
instruction book.
Oh, yes.
Which
you
people
would.
never read.
Yes.
But I think you need to.
I think you should.
Yes.
Moving just across a little bit here, very gentle cook there, so if you want to cook something very gentle, there's a button there for it. This is if you're using the sensor, which I've just talked about. This, if you want to vary the wattage, in other words, a bit like the electric light, you know, with a dimmer switch, you can have it very high or very low, and that's all that does there is just reduce it for you. This is a straightforward timer, your minute timer, which will come round and ping when you finish cooking. And one other feature, which isn't on every one, of course, but you can either have your turntable on or off.
Would you reckon with this one, then, it's more expensive, but is it better value for money, do you think?
I believe so, because once you get a microwave cooker, you find you're doing all sorts of things you never thought of doing before.
Yes, and
so
you
might
probably
as well
have more
spend the money to
potential
start
with this one.
Yes.
What about this wondrous one in the corner here?
Yes, well, you would have the latest, wouldn't you? That actually is an oven, a straightforward fan oven, but it has the support of microwave energy too, so it's very fast and it cooks simultaneously.
It's a combination of the two. And the price?
About £400.
Yes, so it's quite a lot of money, that. I think that's perhaps a bit ambitious. But I think if you want to buy one, what you've got to do is go and look around the shops, get leaflets, study all the features and make up your mind, you know, which one really is for you, so that you get good value, and the cheapest one isn't, as usual, isn't necessarily the best possible value for the money. But if you're using it properly, it seems to me that you can save a few pennies, Jenny.
You're quite right, you can.
Thank you very much. That's a really interesting subject, Jenny. It's obviously there are different ways of looking at the whole business of microwave cookery.
Oh, yes, there's rather more to it than meets the eye.
Yes, I'm afraid so. And I'm afraid that's it for today. And in fact, it's the end of our series. If you would like the full details of all our enterprises on the programme, write to Pennywise, Grampian Television, Queen's Cross, Aberdeen, AB9 2XJ. And again, that's Pennywise, Grampian Television, Queen's Cross, Aberdeen, AB9 2XJ. The fact sheets, remember, are a fair size, so do send a foolscap envelope with your name and address and an 18p stamp. But we are sorry we can't possibly deal with individual queries. However, we do think you'll find most of the answers inside the folder. We've thoroughly enjoyed doing the series and hope it's given you some ideas on beating the budget, looking for bargains and making the most of what you've got. That's really what it's all been about. So from all of us here, it's goodbye.